Unscripted.
You know, Sony likes to do a lot of fan service when it comes to their fans and the PlayStation brand. This is something that's been going on since they've actually been a thing in console gaming, and I think they've done a really good job at it. If you can remember back, they did some really killer commercials with the PlayStation 3 where they had live action people portraying like Nathan Drake and their different characters and things like that. And, you know, again, that was something that was really sort of meant for fans and meant to sort of garner a reaction from fans themselves, which I think is great. And I also think that it really kind of begs the question, you know, what wouldn't they do for their fans? And again, you know, I don't want to come across as like I'm sounding like I'm just 100% pro Sony all the time. I really hope that one day I can, you know, feel back in the fold and wanted as an Xbox gamer, but, you know, they make it a little bit more difficult than Sony does. You know, Sony seems to really go all out for their fans. And again, if you're a console gamer, man, you should feel wanted and really kind of embraced by that whole console lifestyle. So I do feel like that's a little bit of a place where they sort of have a noticeable edge over Microsoft. So I'm pretty much excited about that as well. I'm just kind of sad that as a gamer, it's taken me this long to sort of get into all the different things that they're actually kind of showcasing and letting people kind of get into. So, you know, I was sort of late to the fold, even though I've always had every PlayStation console. In particular, like growing up, I had a PlayStation 1, but I was more into, I think, like the Nintendo 64 and stuff like that at that time, even though I did like a lot of the PlayStation 1 stuff. And then when the PlayStation 2 hit, I was really heavy into the Dreamcast. And, of course, that sort of spurned my love for online gaming, and then I also obviously went heavy into Xbox due to Xbox Live, and there's being like a very cool way to kind of play and interact with my friends. And, you know, from there, obviously, Gears of War with 360 and things like that, and then you go into Titanfall. So, you know, my love of gaming has been around since the mid-'80s, 1980s, by the way, and, you know, nothing much has changed except for my time, and my skill level has gone down significantly. But this is very interesting stuff and could be a potential leak. Again, this would play into the role where, you know, we get these Easter eggs and stuff like that, and I think it's very, very cool. So this is the rumor, right? Sony could be potentially teasing a new Killzone game in the PlayStation 5 UI video. Were they actually teasing a Killzone game in the PlayStation 5 user experience demo? Well, they did have a couple of hints, but a lot of people are starting to say that, hey, that looks like something is there. And before you totally cast this off as impossible, just keep in mind, when Microsoft was showing their UI on the Xbox One back in 2013, there was Crackdown orbs, and next thing you know, we got a Crackdown game. I mean, years and years later, and it was a terrible game, but still, we got one. So here's what's going on. It seems like a lot of, you know, fans are starting to come together and put the pieces together that it looks like Sony has incorporated some PlayStation 5 hints that a new Killzone is going to be in there. Sony decided to display the login screen with the Killzone avatar, and that wouldn't be so weird because it's an older avatar that was available before, obviously. But when you put the Scotty Kenzo name, which this I didn't even realize, like, it shows you how much I'm into Killzone, under the avatar, you could actually start to arouse some suspicions of obvious Killzone fans that really are deep into the lore and things like that. Why is the name Scotty Kenzo so important? Well, a character named Sergeant Kenzo Haken appears in the Killzone series, hence the link to Scotty Kenzo. Helghast Empire Sergeant Kenzo appears in an audio log in which he leaks some information about another character from the game. Now, of course, not everything has to be a tease, and, you know, this doesn't really have to mean anything per se, but there was tons of rumors that, you know, Guerrilla Games was working on 2 games. Not only were they working on, and they have 2 teams, by the way, not only were they working on a follow-up to Horizon Zero Dawn, which now we know is Horizon Forbidden West, but also a multiplayer title, and we know that they've been hiring for multiplayer. We know that Sony also wants to go and get more involved in the multiplayer aspect of things as well, so it is very much an assumption at this point, but who knows, maybe Sony really is trying to, you know, tease and things like that. If you go back to that new commercial with the boat, it's very interesting because they sort of tease what looks like SOCOM on that as well, and there's been rumors of a new SOCOM game as well. So the new Killzone game would make fans of the popular franchise very, very happy. Again, I feel like Killzone got away from itself. Killzone 2 was very good. Killzone 3, excuse me, not as good. Killzone Shadowfall, absolutely horrendous in my opinion. Which Killzone Shadowfall was a launch title 7 years ago on the PlayStation 4. Has it been that long already? Holy cow. When it was originally introduced back in 2013 in a PS4 reveal event that took place in February, the visuals we saw were something unbelievable, and Guerrilla Games are obviously virtuosos when it comes to graphics, and Killzone Shadowfall was a real system seller with next-gen graphics, although the game got poor reviews, and you know, it had a decent campaign or whatever. The multiplayer mode died out really fast. Again, the PlayStation's 5 side is really sort of missing those big, heavy multiplayer modes and things like that. I do think that we could see some kind of thing where, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. And again, this could have been something that they did on purpose just to get people talking. Maybe it's something that people really just sort of maybe really want, and I feel like that's something that could actually come about as well. So I think Sony could be doing the ultimate fan service and could be teasing something here. There's been rumors that this would be a game that would be bringing back Sony to the multiplayer forefront, and I feel like that would be a very cool thing, because if you look at what Sony's been doing lately, they have that fantastic, you know, single player aspect down. Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, Uncharted 4, Days Gone, Death Stranding, so many great single player exclusive games, even stuff like Bloodborne, even though that's not my bag, but they still have it, you know what I mean? That's kind of their forte, and I feel like if there's one sort of knock that you can have on them is the fact that they're sort of lacking in the multiplayer aspect. You know, I mean, they did have GT Sport, which was a pretty decent game, sort of a online games as a service thing, but it was really lacking content at launch as well. And again, I think that it really kind of all points to Sony wanting to be more active in getting people to subscribe to PlayStation Plus, and to do that, maybe you need some more unique multiplayer experiences. Also, it's not like tried and true like it was before, where Microsoft dominated the multiplayer market, because it's not the Xbox 360 era anymore. Bungie's no longer doing Halo. Halo doesn't have millions of players on it anymore, and you know, Epic Games is no longer doing Gears of War, and millions of players aren't on that anymore. So gone are those days where multi-platform, or where the first party of Microsoft were the kings of multiplayer. I think it's perfectly safe for Sony to go in there and start offering some of their own multiplayer experiences, and that could be received pretty well. I think that would be something that everybody kind of has with open arms. Now, again, take this with a grain of salt, but I do think that it's something that could be plausible and that we might see sooner rather than later. Now, Sony has a habit of sitting there and announcing things that are going to be coming out a little bit earlier than most people might like, or than that people really kind of expect. But at the same time, you know, I think it's something that would make a lot of sense for them to do. It is a good franchise, and again, now that Bungie's no longer at Halo, maybe they could actually create the quote-unquote Halo killer, because if you think about it, Killzone 2 actually scored real well, and I feel like you know, that could be something that would really kind of push what's going on with you know, between those two companies. So if you look at Killzone 2, that scored a 91 Metacritic, which is really good. Again, I felt like Killzone 2 was a pretty good game, had a pretty good multiplayer with a wide sort of variety to play. And when it comes to Killzone 3, you know, 84 I don't think is good. I think they kind of rushed that out a little bit. But Killzone Shadowfall is where I think things really kind of slipped up a little bit for them. I think they went kind of in the wrong direction with it. But what better time to get right back on track than with the PlayStation 5? You know, show something new, showcase that you can have multiplayer games as well, and you have some good intentions with that as well. So I do feel like that's something that could be happening sooner rather than later, and I feel like that's something that Sony could push to an advantage over Microsoft. I'm not saying that it necessarily would be better than Halo or something like that. I'm saying that they would have the opportunity and the chance to be better than Halo, given that 343 is now in charge over there, and they sometimes don't act like they really know what they're doing. So It could be very interesting to see how it works out. I'm not going to hold my breath, but I would be interested in hearing what everyone out there thinks about it. Do you guys think this is something that holds water? Do you want to see this in the future? I would love to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions on this. Are you guys fans of Killzone? Heck, some of you that listen to this channel might have never even played a Killzone game, because if you go back to when these Killzone games were popular and at their peak, man, those were PS3 days. I mean, even the last Killzone came out 7 years ago. If you're, 15, 16, 17 years old now, you probably were too young to even play that game. So, I would love your guys' thoughts and opinions. It's a pretty decent, pretty good first-person shooter. I think the power of the PlayStation 5 could really reinvigorate the franchise, though, and would be a heck of a piece of fan service, because I do hear a lot of people, if they went back to the Killzone 2 style, mind you, not the, Shadowfall style, I hope that they kind of get away from that. But at the end of the day, it's going to be interesting to see exactly sort of what's going on and how they can react and how they can get stuff out there to the fans in such a way that everybody can sort of, see it sooner rather than later. I hope that we have an E3 next year or something. I hope the pandemic's not going on still, and that we can get some sense of normalcy and, be able to enjoy, be able to enjoy ourselves and viewing games and conferences and all that kind of stuff. I just, I'm not a fan, obviously, of what's going on right now. I don't think anybody is, obviously, but in particular, if you struggle with like mental health issues or like depression, anxiety, and stuff like that, like me, then you know what I'm talking about. So it's been rougher than normal. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Please stay safe, happy, and healthy. Thank you so much for taking time out to check out one of my videos. If you're looking to support the channel, a simple like goes a long way. It's free to you, and it means a lot to me. So thank you so much. Take care of each other. Rack 'em up. Game on, my friends. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.